The dump site land. The government is planning to build a structure there soon. We can sell it for 20 times the price if you buy it now, Amaka replied. How sure are you? Michael asked. George taught me well, and I also love to do my job well anywhere, anytime. So I got the intel from a reliable source. She was still talking when Michael began to smile. He never knew she talks like this. Amaka in her mind said, "Who they follow this one, they smile?" And she managed to ask, "Why are you smiling, sir?" Michael simply said, "Nothing, my PA. I will buy the land." And Amaka nodded, not sparing a smile. She simply said, "Okay," dryly, and left. She entered the restroom immediately she left Michael's office, and she came out to meet Maria, the same lady she pumped into the last time. "You again? I guess Bishop and Trustworthy told you who I am. I am the girlfriend of the head of staff here, and if I tell him to fire you, he will," Maria said arrogantly. "Whatever," Amaka replied confidently and started leaving. But Maria placed a leg on the way and Amaka fell flat immediately she bumped on it. "Ouch!" she whimpered, and Maria said with a wicked laugh, "Serves you right." She turned to leave, but was shocked to see Shem standing right there with Flora. "Mini boss," she called surprisingly. "You are a witch," Flora said, and walked to Amaka, helping her up. "Are you okay?" she asked, and Amaka nodded. Yes, despite the pains in her ankle. Her eyes stayed on Shem. Even without introduction, she will recognize him 20-30 years to come. Shem glared angrily at Maria, and she was on her knees in front of him. "Millie boss," she was. "Mention any punishment that you want for her," Shem interrupted, facing Amaka, who was fighting back her tears of joy. Flora smiled and added, "Any punishment. Don't worry, Shem is the second boss here." Amaka nodded, still staring emotionally at Shem, whose left hand was in his pocket just like his father. He was looking at Amaka straight in the eyes too, waiting for her answer. "I want her to start rubbing that sharp mouth on the ground till I get satisfied," Amaka muttered. Instantly, Shem faced Maria, who was still kneeling, and she held her breath. "Get to work," he ordered, and her eyes widened. "Mini boss, I am..." And Shem interrupted yet again. "You want to get fired instead of that?" And she quickly shook her head. "No, I will do it," she said, and bent over the floor. Immediately her lips touched it, she began scrubbing the floor with it, grunting in pains as she did. Flora smiled with her arms well folded, as she said, "Things like this are more enjoyable with a bowl of fries." Amaka's eyes weren't even on Maria, who was busy mopping the floor with her mouth. They were ashamed. She said within herself, "He grew so tall, too tall for a 9-year-old kid. What is Michael feeding him with? Gosh, so mommy born this handsome boy? Shame," she muttered before she could hold herself, but it was only Flora who heard. "You said?" Flora asked. "Nothing," Amaka quickly replied, wiping the little tear that was threatening to fall off her eyes. "Are you satisfied now?" Shem asked, checking the time on his wristwatch. "It's 5 minutes already." Amaka nodded, and he said to Maria, "Get up." She stood up with her face down and her lips swollen with several bruises. It was bleeding too, and she had tears on her face already. "You should know your place when you are here. It's my dad's company and you have no right to bully," he said calmly. "I am so sorry, mini boss," Maria said, and Shem turned to start walking out of the hallway. Flora said to Amaka, "See you around," before rushing after Shem. Maria practically ran to her lover's office, the head of staff. What the hell? What happened to your lips? Did you walk into the house of bees or something? It's shame, she cried. Shame? Wait, Mini Boss is here? How come I didn't hear the announcement? I didn't hear you too, and he met me teaching that naughty Amaka a lesson. He told her to choose my punishment, and that good-for-nothing fellow told me to mop the ground with my lips. What? Amaka said that? The head of staff asked. Isn't this enough evidence? Look at my lips. I am in pains, she yelled. I have to go meet him first. I can't get fired, the head of staff said and rushed out of the office. Immediately Shem entered the management office. Everyone stood up, both male and female. Anytime he visits like this, he is a ticking time bomb and his fingers are dangerous because once he points at you, you are gone, and he focuses majorly on females. He was almost done with the scamming and everyone was ready to breathe out in relief when he suddenly stopped in front of a desk. Face up, he said, and the lady looked up. She was wearing a really transparent shirt and her bra could visibly be seen. Besides that, the front of her shirt was open, showing her cleavage too. Have you gone to my dad's office today? He asked. No, I was just about to go submit some documents, she shouted. Dressed like this? Shem asked. That instant, the head of staff entered the office. Mini Boss, he called respectfully. Get rid of her, Shem ordered. She should be in the hotel and not a company. The lady shouted, I am finished, and fell back on her seat. The head of staff just said to her, but you safe, you too do. Why will you choose to dress like this to the office? Please pack your things because I still value my job and I don't want to be fired yet. Shem entered their sister's office. Amaka, Anne, Bishop and Trustworthy were already standing. He scrutinized them too, and after 2 minutes he smiled. You guys are the best in this office. No issues always. Thanks for the compliment, Mini Boss, Anne said. He faced Amaka, who was smiling too much and lost in thought. Like, see my son, no. Boss, at this age? Chai! Thank God I didn't terminate him. It was his voice that brought her back to reality. It was nice meeting you, and Amaka said, thank you for saving me earlier, and he entered his father's office immediately. God! I heard he fired the lady who loves wearing transparent shirts at the management office and said, I was expecting it. She's always trying hard to seduce boss. It is obvious, Bishop said. If you were a lady, you would probably try to seduce him too, Trustworthy said. You fired the staff? You made Maria mop the ground with what? Michael yelled at Shem. He replied, the staff was obviously trying to seduce you, and I only wanted to keep you safe from females till my mommy returns. I am marking her territory. Michael smiled and said, you already love her so much, even without seeing her. I can't wait to see her, Dad. I will give her all the money in my account first as a gift. I just wish she's happy wherever she is. And I don't want her to get hurt before we meet. So what about Maria? Michael asked. She was bullying your new PA, Flora replied, coming in. My new PA? Michael asked. Yes, but Shem already taught her a lesson. Before she could finish her statement, Michael was already out of the office. He went straight to Amaka's office. She looked up with a blink. Where are you? He took her hand and pulled her out of the office before she finished asking her question. Wait, Is there something we are not aware of? Anne asked. Of course, plenty things, Bishop and Trustworthy chorused. Really? Anne asked, facing them, wanting to hear the gist. Michael on his part didn't stop until he got to the end of the walkway with her, and he let go of her hand to face her. Are you okay? I heard about the shit Maria tried. I am fine. Amaka cut him off and started limping away. Immediately he saw her limping. He pulled her back. You should go get treated at the medical room. I will take you, Michael said. But she took her hand from him immediately. I said I am fine. Stop pretending to be nice. I said those things to you 9 years ago because I was hurt, Michael said. And I was hurt that day too. Amaka cut him off. You are not the only one in the world. Everyone has their crosses to carry, Michael. And I am really fine. At least I got to see my son today, she said and limped away, leaving him standing. Amaka got back to her office and met Anne on her desk waiting for her. Minnie Boss wants something to drink, she said. With great joy, Amaka replied, Oh, I will get it. She got into Michael's office meeting Shem and Flora. Please, can you get any soft drink? Flora asked. Sure, Amaka replied. Shem faced Amaka immediately and she smiled brightly again. What did my dad talk to you about earlier? Shem asked seriously. Nothing much, she replied. Okay, there is just one rule to follow as his PA. Don't fall for my dad, he said. Don't worry, I am married and that can never happen, she replied, showing him the ring on her finger. I don't mean to sound rude, but I'm doing it for my mom. She's coming back soon, Shem said, beaming with happiness. Amaka's joy reduced to 0% immediately. If only he knows his mother is the PA standing right in front of him. Shem said to her, I love you. You are smart. I should start calling you Mrs. Smart. Amaka chuckled before leaving the office, trying her best not to limp. She saw Michael by the door, but pretended she saw no one till she was out. Dad, we are visiting the cinema tonight. My favorite animation, Bunny Bears, will be shown tonight again after 2 years, Shem said to his father immediately he walked in. Augasta, how many times are you going to watch that? Michael asked. Auntie Flora bought the ticket already and she's even going with us, Shem said. Flora bought out the 3 tickets and Michael asked, raising his brows. What are you even doing here? Is it a sin to come see my best friend who is so hard to catch these days? Just so you know, Shem and I will wait till you are done so we can go for the movie together, she replied. An hour later, Amaka ran into the head of the department. She greeted and he blocked her. I thought you were a better woman during your first day yesterday, but now it is obvious that you are just desperate for attention. And Amaka said to him, if this had to do with your girlfriend, then I have nothing to say. You must get on my good side if you really want to stay long here. But now that you did that to my girlfriend, expect hell, he threatened. I am not afraid, sir. You are only the head of staff and nothing else, Amaka replied and walked away. You surely do not know me, he muttered. I do. You are nothing but dust, Amaka said. She was about to enter her office when her phone rang and she stepped back to pick. It was Brian. Hello, Brian. Hello, Amy. I want to go to the cinema tonight with my niece. Can you please join us? Well, it's Saturday and I have a little time, So yes, but are the tickets ready? Of course, Brian replied. But you sound happy. Did anything happen? Yes, Amaka replied, but we will talk later, and she hung up. She hung the phone on her chest, thinking about the little conversation she had with Shem earlier. My baby is cool, she said proudly, resting on the wall in a funny way. Exactly 7 p.m., Brian drove his niece, Amaka and Precious to the cinema, and the parking lot was already filled with expensive cars. You haven't told us the movie we are watching yet, Amaka asked. Brian's niece quickly chose Bunny Bears and everyone agreed. Amaka's smiles were wide. Brian began to wonder, though Amaka smiles at times, but no one had been as genuine as the one she gave that night. He only hoped it did last. Amaka's phone rang. She checked it to see Blockhead calling. Obviously, Opeyemi. She turned off the phone immediately. She wanted to spend the moment in peace with Brian and the kids. Then he can say or do whatever he wants when she gets back home. They entered the cinema. Michael, his son and Flora arrived. The place was full of kids. Of course, why not? Bunny Bears is loved by kids all over the world, so it is as it should be. They got the popcorns and went in, taking their seats according to the numbers on their tickets. It was a VIP cinema room, so there were just 10 people in before Michael and his people joined. Michael Lawson! A voice called. Immediately they sat, and he looked at his side, only to see Brian sitting on the same row with Amaka and the kids. Mrs. Smart! Shem called cheerfully. Amaka almost rushed to hug him, but she flashed him a beautiful smile, feeling so happy that she accepted Brian's offer to be at the cinema. She met her son again. You are my role model. Trust me, I want to be like you in the future. I am Brian Johnson. But Michael barely listened. He was just staring at the love of his life. Oh, sorry, Amaka. Michael? Flora called and he got back to reality. He answered. It's so nice to meet you, sir, Brian said again, and he turned to him. Oh, thank you. We will talk after the movie. And Brian smiled excitedly. Amaka on her part kept staring at Shem, and he wondered why as he ate his popcorn. Immediately the cinema TV came on. Every single light in the room went off. What's going on? I hate darkness, people muttered, and the lights came back on immediately. But shockingly, Precious was nowhere to be found. Precious! Amaka shouted fearfully. No? Her muffled voice came from the end of the room, and they turned only to see her being taken away by a man, her mouth blocked with his palm. Amaka ran after him immediately, entering the door he entered. He was running pretty fast, but she flung her shoes and gave it her all too, running after the mysterious man. He opened another door and went in, and when she wanted to go in after him, he shut the door on her face and it hit her on her forehead. She fell. Meanwhile, immediately the man entered the next room. He was blocked by Brian. Uncle Brian! Precious shouted despite her blocked mouth. Put her down, he said breathlessly. In your dreams, the man replied, and made to kick him. But Brian dodged and grabbed his leg instead, dragging it. He fell and Precious rolled away from him. Who the hell sent you? Brian made to punch him, but he used his nail on Brian's stomach. Jeez! Brian groaned painfully. The man stood, going after Precious again. "Leave me alone! Leave me! Mommy!" Precious cried. The man's hands got to her, but before he could succeed, a kick landed on his face from Michael at the hidden angle, and he went down again with a bloody nose this time. "Ah!" he screamed, and Amaka ran in. "Mommy!" Precious called and ran to her arms. Shane, Flora, Brian's niece, and other people came in too. Michael faced Amaka, and when he saw the injury on her forehead, he remembered Shane's words earlier. "I just wish my mommy will be happy wherever she is, and I don't want her to get hurt before we meet." The lion in him was awoken. He snatched a folded umbrella from one of the people with his eyes so emotionless. The unfortunate man was still wriggling in pains on the ground. "Out, everyone!" Michael ordered, but everyone remained wondering what he meant. "I said out!" he shouted, and everyone rushed out fearfully. He locked the door, walked up to the man, and gave him a hard lash on the stomach with the umbrella. "Ah!" the man cried agonizingly. Michael gave him another hit as someone who means business, but this time on the chest. "Ah!" he cried again. The third hit was on his shoulder, and he rolled around in pains, crying even louder. Michael dumped the umbrella and dragged him up by holding his collar. "Who the hell are you? Who sent you?" he questioned. Instead of answering, he craftily got a knife out of his pocket. He tried to sink it into Michael's arm, but he was fast to dodge it, though not fast enough because he made contact and gave him a cut on that arm. His blood stained his white shirt, and his anger got rebuked. The man tried stabbing him again, but he grabbed his hand and twisted it. The knife fell from him to the ground, and Michael began dealing with his face with punches without stopping. His expensive wristwatch fell to the ground and got destroyed, but he cared less. He just wanted to deal with the man, the very man who injured his own Amaka. The man even lacked the energy to fight back because the punches were so heavy, and as he received them, blood colored his face till he became unrecognizable. Michael grabbed the umbrella again, and the man said, raising his hand, "Excuse me, sir. They know they play in your village. I was just playing, sir." Michael got disappointed because he was waiting to hear who sent him. With that anger, he gave him what I call a confessing lash, and the man's senses became corrected. "Hell! I was sent by Precious's biological mother. She wanted her daughter back, but Opeyemi wasn't giving her that chance, and that was why I got hired," he finally confessed. At this time, the door was opened forcefully, and the police came in with everyone. As expected, eyes popped when they saw the man's condition, especially Brian and Flora. Shane kept staring at his father shockingly. He had never witnessed him do this before. The police took the man away in handcuffs, and everyone started to leave. "You were hurt," Flora told Michael, looking at his arm. "I am fine," he breathed out, walking to Amaka, who was still holding Precious tightly. He mentioned that her biological mother sent him, and he mentioned a name too, Opeyemi. And Amaka nodded. "You should get your arm treated." "I am seriously fine. You should get your head treated instead." "If you don't want me to take you, Flora can do it," Michael said. "Don't worry. Brian will take me," Amaka replied as she walked out of the room. I hate it when you get hot, Shame's voice came. Michael squatted in front of him, stroking his hair. I am serious, Dad, Shame said, squeezing his face as he stared at the bleeding arm. I am sorry, son. I won't get hurt again, Michael replied with a little smile. 2 hours later, Brian's car pulled up and Amaka came out with sleeping Precious in her arms. Her forehead had been plastered as they went to the hospital for treatment. You should take the painkillers before going to bed. It will reduce the pains and make sure you sleep, Brian said. I will. Thank you for all you do, Brian, Amaka replied. I hate hearing things from you, Ami. Amaka smiled and waved a good night. Brian sighed and rested back on his seat. Are you sad that man saved her instead of you? His niece asked. Why should I be sad? She got saved after all. I should thank him, Brian replied. Okay. I heard guys love playing hero for the person they love, she said again. Amaka is someone I respect a lot and I owe her my life. Loving her will mean selfishness. She's married and there are boundaries I can never cross. She's like a big sister and I just want her to be happy, Brian replied. His niece leaned forward and asked, Uncle Brian, did you say you owe her your life? Did you both meet in the past? You asked too many questions, you this girl, Brian said, and he drove down the road. Amaka gently placed Precious on the bed when she got inside, and immediately she stood straight. Opeyemi came into the room. And where are you coming from by this time? He questioned. Cinema. I took Precious out for a movie, Amaka replied. Was that why you refused to pick my call? Or is there something that I don't know? Why is it that you get uncomfortable with everything I do? I can't even breathe well in this house, Amaka shouted, and he immediately grabbed her neck, choking her. Opeyemi, she struggled and even exerted more pressure on the choking. Her eyes began to roll. You can't breathe? Then die! Die and die fast, he yelled as he choked. Ope, darling, easy. You can't kill her yet, Wendy said, coming into the room in just her underwear. She has been in the house even before Amaka arrived. Opeyemi let go of Amaka and she began coughing so hard, holding her neck. I helped you, and you want to start disobeying me now? Ope said. I am currently paying the price for what you did to me, animal, Amaka yelled, and tears escaped her eyes as she had a flashback. 8 years ago, Opeyemi really paid off Amaka's debt as promised. They went to a place together and she invited him in. He didn't hide how disgusted he felt with the poor condition of our place. Amaka offered him water, but he didn't even touch the cup. Thanks, and thank you a bunch for saving me. I will work hard to pay you back, Amaka said gratefully, kneeling in front of him. I didn't save you so you can pay me back with money, Opeyemi replied. Then what do you want? Amaka asked curiously. I am Opeyemi Adeniyi, the third son of Adeniyi's family, and my father is currently dying. But any of his sons who doesn't get married before his death won't be included in his will, he explained. Amaka was still listening, and Opeyemi continued. I hate getting committed to one woman. Why should I do that when there are a lot of holes to drill out there? You will get married to me in a contract marriage for 9 years. Don't worry, I won't touch you. You are not my type at all. Just live with me as a wife and nothing more, he said. What? Yes, Opeyemi replied and smiled. Flashback ends. Amaka then said to him, I have been married to you on paper since then, and I always do every single thing you want. You even brought home the child you had out of your testing varieties, and I didn't complain. I took her as my own daughter. You got disowned by your father, and I have been the one feeding you since then. What else do you want from me? Amaka shouted hotfully. You want to hear the truth? You are cursed. Come to think of it, I got disowned immediately I got married to you, and my dad didn't even die as I wanted. You are bad luck, he yelled. Calm down, Dawn. Wendy rubbed his chest. Let go of me then, if I am bad luck, Amaka fired. You think I am stupid? Your contract is 9 years, and you are going nowhere before it completes. Ugly thing. Now, I don't even blame your first love for betraying you in the university. No one deserves an unfortunate woman like you, Opeyemi replied, and Wendy pulled him to the room. Amaka sat on the ground and started crying slowly, covering her mouth with her palm so she wouldn't wake Precious up. Whenever he bashes her with words like this, he always mentions her past pains and her wounds reopen each time. John and Mercy's faces appeared in her memory, and for the 100th time, she cursed them. She cried for long before entering the bathroom to shower. She sat in front of the mirror and swallowed the painkillers with water. Then she remembered Michael's wound and said, I hope he's okay, touching her own plastered forehead and her hurting neck too. Michael on his part got his arm treated by himself when he arrived earlier. They had the baths and Shem asked him straight up, do you like Mrs. Smart? Michael blinked in confusion. Mrs. Smart? Who is that? Your PA, he replied. Michael exhaled. He expected this question. You should get to bed, Shem. I will, Dad. But please answer me. You told me not to get violent, but you got extra violent when you saw her wounded head. It was as if a part of you was wounded. That's because she is, Michael said and paused. She is what? My PA. And Shem said, but George was once attacked when he was still your PA. But you didn't. I don't like Amaka. I promise you. Michael cut him off and Shem hugged him and said, that's what I wanted to hear, Dad. Because this home will soon be complete with my mom in it. The next day, which was on Sunday, Amaka went to the restaurant she worked with. She went with her daughter. They were having a nice time when her phone beeped. It was a reminder the company's 7th anniversary is next week and she hasn't even planned anything as the PA. But why so fast? She muttered, going to her contact. She scrolled till she got to Michael's number. George gave her during the handover since it's compulsory to have her boss's number. She saved it as heartless punk. She dialed his number and Michael was quick to pick. Amaka, he said calmly, I called to ask about your arm. I am not heartless like a certain person, she said. It is healing well. I called you in the morning to ask about your forehead, but you didn't pick, he replied. I was busy and I didn't see the call too. Is next week really the anniversary or is there a mistake? Because you can come to my place instead so we talk properly, he interrupted. About? Amaka asked. The anniversary, of course. And you can get to see Shem as well. Or you can as well forget about it. I am not sure, but send the address just in case. And she hung up immediately, smiling. An hour later, they boarded a taxi. The driver was good with routes, so he got to the address that Michael sent very fast. They got down and Amaka paid. She was surprised to see such a magnificent mansion. She didn't know when she exclaimed, "Wow!" And rain dropped, touched her arm. Oh my God! Is it going to rain? I didn't even check the weather forecast. And before she could say another word, the rain began to fall for real. She rushed to the gate and placed Precious in a covered space so she wouldn't get drenched. Then she gasped when she noticed her purse was nowhere to be found. My purse, she muttered, going back into the rain to start searching the ground. Maybe it fell. Her last cash is in it and she might go crazy if it's really gone. Despite the rain, she searched everywhere but couldn't find it. Oh no, she mumbled, and the taxi driver drove back to her, stopping on the initial spot. The window went down and the driver pointed out the purse. You forgot it. Thank you so much, sir, she said, and she took it. The taxi drove away and she ran in to meet Precious. You are soaked, Mommy, Precious said, and Amaka smiled. She was starting to shake. I found my purse, that's what matters, baby girl, she replied and dialed Michael's number. Hello, I am at the gate. What? Christmas Day for Michael, and he showed up in a minute with an umbrella. He felt guilty again immediately she saw her wet state. He opened the gate and handed the umbrella to Amaka and her daughter. You said you weren't sure, he said. I changed my mind, Amaka replied shakingly. You are silly, baby mama, removing his jacket and covered her with it. What did you just call me? She asked slowly. And Michael looked straight into her eyes without any fear and repeated, baby mama, smiling like a secondary school lover. Amaka turned her face and said, not complete. Please add cheap. That is cheap, baby mama. He stopped smiling immediately. What's that now? You called me cheap back then, remember? And Michael's lips felt glued. He couldn't say any more word as he stared at her. No other sound around, just the soothing sound of the raindrops on the umbrella. It was all awkward till Precious called, Mom? And that brought them back. Mrs. Smart, Shem called when they got to the door as he was already waiting. Shem! Amaka smiled immediately just by seeing him. She felt the urge to drop Precious and go hug him, but she had to hold herself back. Very soon, she will be able to embrace him warmly, and when that day comes, she won't let go of him even after hours. Why is she here? Shem faced his father, who was folding the umbrella. It is about the company. Don't overthink, he replied. And Shem said to Amaka, your daughter is so cute. Now I have a better view of her. Thank you for calling me cute, Precious replied. They eventually got in, and Amaka stood staring at her wet self, wondering what she would do. Shem sat beside Precious and they started talking like they've known each other for long. Michael looked at Amaka and saw how uncomfortable she was in the wet clothes and how she kept moving one foot to another. He said, I will get you something to change into, then I can get your clothes dried. Without hesitation, Amaka agreed. Meanwhile, Shem was busy asking Precious truckloads of questions, and making sure she was relaxed. Amaka smiled as she watched her handsome son acting like a big brother already. Michael returned 2 minutes later with one of his shirts. He handed it to Amaka and directed her to the bathroom so she could change. She came out 3 minutes later already changed, and as expected, the shirt stopped at her mid-thigh, looking cute. Michael's eyes widened the moment she came out, holding the wet clothes. He gave her a thorough look from her foot up to her face, and when their eyes met, he blinked and looked away immediately, like a thief caught in the very act. He tried to take the wet clothes from her. "No, I will dry them myself," Amaka said, holding back. "No, that will not work here," Michael said and collected it from her. "You should have a seat. I will be back in a jiffy," he said and walked out of sight. Amaka sat on another couch, and from there she stared at the keys, who looked as though they were in another world. Despite the fact that she had changed into another clothes, she still couldn't help but feel cold, so she began shaking slightly, pulling the shirt impossibly down so it would cover more of her thighs. Michael was coming downstairs when he saw her that way, and he immediately turned off the air conditioners in the living room, then went into the kitchen to make 2 warm cups of tea, which he brought for mother and daughter. "Thanks," Amaka said before taking it. She needed the tea, so no foaming or plenty shakara talks. She drank from it instantly, and Michael got his working laptop before returning to sit beside her. "You still haven't told me where you got the intel from," he said. "Secrets," she replied. "So Precious is not your biological daughter?" he asked, but she was quiet. Opeyemi Adeniyi, the disowned son, is your husband?" he asked again. "Can you stop trying to dig into my private life?" "It is useless," she replied. And Michael said, "Yes, ma, I am sorry. Can we talk about the anniversary now?" "Of course we can. But George didn't list my duties at the anniversary during the handover," she replied. "I guess he forgot. But you have minor duties to perform. The office assistants will handle the rest," he said. "So what are the minor duties?" "You are in charge of the invitations. You will prepare the invitation cards for the CEOs and important people. Then you are to be my date to the party," he replied. "But why should I be your date?" she quickly asked. "George was my date throughout the anniversaries he celebrated in the company as my PA. And I didn't mind the fact that he was a man like me because I don't like women. But now that you are here, you are entitled to it," he explained. "You hate women?" she asked. "You are my baby mama, a woman, and I don't hate you." "Stop calling me that." "But you are," he replied, and she went mute. "That's all about the anniversary. Do you mind eating?" "I am full, boss," she replied. "And please, the clothes should be dried by now. It's getting late." "But it's still raining," Michael said. "Oga, rain don't stop. My clothes, sir." He reluctantly went upstairs to get her dry clothes, and she took them. "Are we leaving already?" Precious asked, still busy with one of Shem's parts. "Yes, baby girl," Amaka replied. "But I'm enjoying the games now." "Oh, you can go with the pad. I have 2 others," Shem said. "Really?" "Yes. Consider it my first gift to you." Precious was so grateful. Amaka got changed. Then she returned the shirt to Michael and carried Precious. "I will drop you," he said. "No, you..." And Michael interrupted her. "Madam, you cannot reject this particular offer because there's no way you will get a taxi in this estate on a rainy night like this." And she relented. Bye, Shame, she winked at him. See you soon, Mrs. Smart, he replied, and she kept looking back at him till she was out of the house. Michael drove them to her place and they arrived after 15 minutes. As expected, Precious was already sleeping, so she carried her out of the car and Michael came out too. Thank you, she said freely to him and started going in. Michael watched her without blinking and he couldn't help but have another flashback of that night. Please, I have nowhere else to go. Have mercy on me. Her pleading voice resounded in his head when she was begging him to take the baby. He felt bad immediately and he was unaware when he called her name. Amaka! She turned back by the door, questioning him with her eyes. Take care of your forehead, he said hopefully, and she went in without saying a word. Michael drove down the road with guilt. She got in. Opeyemi and Wendy were busy tearing through the walls of the house. She ignored their ringtones as it wasn't new to her. Put Precious to bed. She remembered Shem's face and smiled. Why did Amaka smile? Is it just because of Shem or something else is fishing? Well, let's find out in the next episode of the story. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't. You can as well support my channel by buying me a coffee using the link on my bio or using the link in the description of this video. You can as well buy me a super thanks. Till I bring the next episode of the story your way, it is a goodbye from here and God bless you.